Hello, everyone. Good evening. Wait, hold on.
Evening.
Can you hear me?
Good morning there. Good morning there,
Good
Ma'am
morning.
Marie.
Good evening. Hi. Yeah, this is exciting. What I envision for myself and for my community, for myself, I really would like to learn and understand more the principles of my original relationship with nature, how to manage it so that I can be a responsible citizen and be the instrument in healing the planet. I always think of that principle from Dr. Kittel. He says, if you want to learn how to fly, you need to learn the principles of aerodynamics. And so if we want to learn how to manage and be the responsible manager of the creation, we need to learn the principles of permaculture. So I think it's the key to solving all the problems from health problems, food security, and climate crisis, from micro to macro level. Understanding permaculture and practicing it is the key. Also for the community, I feel and I believe that when group of people like us here make this commitment, and I want to see a model Bohol, one community who can start a movement in a cohesive way and make an impact for the world as a model for the UN, because the United Nations is looking for a model community and a model approach, practice how to solve the planetary issues. And I feel like everyone here is brilliant, and I'm really grateful for Yanni and Sarao and Christine and everyone for making this a humongous commitment, because with this group, I think that I can see a healed planet in the very near future in my lifetime. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Yanni.
you,
Thank
Ma'am
you, Sarao.
Marie. So honored to have you here with us.
I'm sorry, I'm late.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
no. Actually, it's early there, no?
It is, yeah, it's 7 a.m. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad, Pa,
Yes, yeah.
would
Yeah.
you like to say a few words?
Only a few words. Huh? I told you earlier that I'll not be turning my camera on because wala pa ko naka-parlor, so wala pa ko yung hair makeup dire. And one thing, what do you envision? I envision now to just be an observer. I just plan to observe and to listen to everybody. I'm just happy that we are part of this team, this group, this youth. Why? Because right now I'm feeling also that I am also a youth. So that's my main goal. So actually, I'm thankful for everybody, for everyone to be attending this. And actually, Yanni called me up. We had a short Zoom meeting evaluating those applicants that were being told to answer 3 or 4 questions.
Yeah.
Is it right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I told myself if I was the one who will be applying this, I will be disqualified because I don't like to answer those essay questions thing. So but anyway, let's be ourselves, please. Enjoy it. Then I'll just want to say to everybody, isipin natin lang na wala pa tayong alam. As I said, we empty our mind, we empty the cup so that we could fill in something new and better for us all. Thank you.
Thank you, Pa. That's a great wrap up to all the introductions. Okay, so it's my turn. I'm the last. So you can just call me Yanni. I would think I would identify myself first as a nature lover. I love nature so much that if I'm away from nature from too long, I feel literally sick. Sometimes I would feel ill if I'm really away from nature. And although I'm an architect by profession, I'm a black sheep architect because I ran away from my profession looking for something better. So I would rather call myself a permaculture designer, or I try to be a permaculture designer because I'm still learning just like all of us. So in connection to that, I also would call myself a perpetual learner. I would actually prefer to be always a beginner rather than an expert on something, because once I'm an expert on something, that means I hit a ceiling now with my growth. So I'd rather be a beginner and I'm always learning something new. I'm also a systems thinker. So that means that in my head, in my brain, just like my mom, inside my brain are a lot of wires. So those wires are connecting everything. So sometimes it's useful because, like, if I think of something, oh, it's connected to that, connected to that, connected to that. So I have a tendency to think of the whole. And that's why sometimes I don't like details because I prefer to think of the whole. So I think that's just how my brain has been wired. Yeah. And to connect all of my interests together, I founded the Regenesis Project a few years back, and that has become my life's mission and my life's work. And it is how I want to express my gifts and my passion and my curiosity in this world in my lifetime. So my dad introduced himself, but he's very humble. Maybe I'll just say a few more words about my dad. I am who I am because of my dad. So he is really he's a maverick, and he knows not even like a little about a lot. He knows a lot about a lot. So I don't even know where to put what category to put him, because he's an agriculturist, he's a farmer, he's a bamboo technician, he's a construction manager, he's a teacher, he's everything. So these days, I think there's a value in being a generalist, meaning you have many different skill sets, because if you have many different skill sets, even though it's not quite a lot, then you can specialize in the connections of those skill sets, and then you form something new, as opposed to you only know one thing. So it's really good if you have multiple interests. So he's also the reason why our family is like this, and why me, my dad, my mom, and my husband are all working together towards the same goal. I know that not all families are like that. So I'm very, very blessed. It's one of the biggest blessings in my life. And I hope to share this kind of blessing to a bigger family. It doesn't have to be a family by blood. Yeah, so that's my dream. So with the Regenesis Project, I'm not sure if all of you have heard of the Regenesis Project. Christine has mentioned it a little bit. So our mission is healing nature through people, healing people through nature, because we believe that it should be a bi-directional healing, because healing should happen everywhere. So we are the first ecosystem restoration camp in the Philippines. We're the only ecosystem restoration camp in the Philippines. So when me and Mom Merlin met, and then we talked about our common goals, we knew that it's not a coincidence that all of these initiatives are here. Us, 10,000 Heroes, UN, Women's Federation for World Peace, we're all here because maybe we're destined to do something great, no matter how small it sounds, but we just do our best. Yeah, so these are just some photos of our camps. In every camp, we always have a component of earth restoration, earth healing, depending on what we need to restore, like we're planting a food forest, we're planting bamboo or whatnot. But then there's also an aspect of human healing, focus on mental health, because a lot of people need healing these days from the pandemic. A lot of people have problems. So we must all heal together. So because there's a lot of healing that needs to be done, there's also a lot of transformation that has to be done in everything. So Patrick mentioned something about problems in our agricultural system. So our agricultural system or food system needs to change. Sometimes our design, the way we build has to change. Our businesses have to change. The way we do tourism have to change. Our educational system have to change. So everything has to change because we have to unlearn the old systems, which is quite selfish and quite not really holistic. And then we have to transform it into something that really looks at the good of everything. So that is also the bigger dream of Regenesis. So that is why we actually committed to help out with this course. We found that it is a perfect partnership. Oops, naputol. Ako na lang ikoan. Ako na lang i-verbalize. It's a perfect partnership between the Regenesis Project and Women's Federation for World Peace, together with 10,000 Heroes, because we have the same passion, we have the same goal. You know, our goal is to make Bohol Island a model island for regeneration and for healing. And I truly, truly believe that we could do it with the youth. So we may have some experience, but we don't have manpower. You have the hearts and the energy and the power to affect change in your respective communities. So we felt that it's a perfect partnership to put this course together, and then basically knowledge transfer and even co-create new knowledge to figure out how to achieve our common dream. Because if you notice, you listen to everyone wants the same thing. You know, it's just slightly, you know, something a bit more specific in my case, that is really good. But everyone wants the same thing. So that's why I'm very happy to hear from every one of you and happy to have you here tonight. So when it comes to what our objectives are for this course, because when it comes to developing training, it's so important that we understand upfront what we want to achieve, because we don't want to learn something na dili magamit, we learn for the sake of learning. I mean, that's good also, but we want to have tangible outcome. So because our goal is for you, the youth, or you who are young leaders and change makers, to be able to propagate permaculture, that means that at the end of this course, you would really have integration of permaculture within yourself. Like, you understand the principles, you'll be able to explain the principles. You'll be able to apply permaculture in whatever context, because some of you might have different contexts. Some of you might have like degraded land near the beach, different country, or whatever scale. So it's really important that there is that integration first. After you have the integration, you will have to learn how to design. So design is part of permaculture, because once you understand the principles, then you will have to learn how to design a project, whatever project it is, and then implement it. And then in your case, because your goal is to really spread the word, spread the good work, then you will also have to learn how to propagate. So those are the 4 learning objectives, hopefully at the end of this course. So with respect to that, we broke down this course into several topics. There's a reason why we're gonna tackle each topic, and that's also why it's a bit long. You know, it's not like 2-week course, 3-day course, or whatnot, because if those are our goals and then these are our objectives, then we have to really deep dive into many of these things, so that once mabuyan na mo, you could do the thing, you know, hand-holding na lang gamay. So in this first week, today, the next session, and then the third session, we start off with the foundation first. You know, we deep dive into the principles, and then we learn how to really integrate it into ourselves, so that we develop a permaculture brain and a permaculture heart. And then with that brain and heart, we learn how to apply it in different contexts, so that in the next weeks, week 2 to 7, then we can go into all of the specific topics following the same design framework as what we discussed last time. It's just that mas detail na tagaron. So we're going to tackle all of these topics. And then when we tackle those topics from week 2 to 7, it's going to be really hybrid. So the first, sorry, don't look at the dates, kaya nausab na. The first session of that topic, we're going to talk more about, it's like we talk about principles and then you immediately apply. And when we say immediately apply, you have to apply on site. You will have to develop the actual hands-on skills, because it will be the skills that's really critical in implementation. Mobile na ang lisod. That's why partner mi ni Papa, because bisag unsa pa kagwapa ang design, if we don't know how to implement it, or if dili mao pag implement, or na-day changes or whatnot, your vision or your plan cannot be realized. So that's why it's important to understand the principles, and then how to design, and then how to implement. Yeah. So that's kind of like the flow, just to give you an idea why we do things the way we do. because technically speaking, this course is really curated by me and my dad, to give as much value as possible to you guys. So hopefully at the end of this, like, there's a lot to be learned by everyone.